Hello. It's not Friday. It's not a live chalky chat. I tell you what I wanted to do was just really quickly. I just finished a collection of chocolates, so I've kind of tapped everything out. What I wanted to show was just like after you finish like tapping everything out. This really relates to like going into Christmas and doing the production. So I've got a load of moulds that I've turned out all the chocolates. I've literally done those. I've boxed all the chocolates up. All the chocolates are there, kind of all ready to go. One of the big questions, you like those? They're a bit shiny, aren't they? So they're all ready to go. They're all boxed up. They're all done. Okay. What I wouldn't do is then, I know a lot. Just so many chocolatiers go and do this, and it's. I'm just going to show you something that you need to do. Some of you will probably know this anyway. This will save you hours and hours and hours of cleaning, or needless cleaning. When your moulds get into such a mess that you actually kind of need to go and give them a wash, you've then got to dry them. Then you've got to polish and dry each one and get all any watermarks and all those bits and pieces off. I've turned everything out, so we've only got we did 32 boxes like that. Okay, so it's 12 moulds. What I wouldn't do is send those to wash. I'm going to try and avoid touching the inside of any of these cavities, right? So that's all these moulds that I've turned out. All I would do, because these are going to go straight back on the shelf and they'll be ready to use again. What I'm trying not to do is touch. Everything's retracted out and everything's turned out, and there's nothing left in these cavities at all. So they are perfectly clean. I don't want to send them to washing up because that's just going to be an absolute mountain more work. All I'm going to do is just give them a really quick warm. Okay, we'll give them a warm. This is really straightforward, but this is a time saver for anybody. You only need to give it a warm, right? It's only enough just to melt that surface, just to melt this kind of surface chocolate that you get from capping. If I wipe that on there, okay, and I'm going to do the edges. And it seems, I mean, once you've cracked everything out, it seems like it's a lot of work to then say, right, well, I'm just going to go and clean all the moulds. But doing this, that is a lot less work. That is a lot less work than then taking it. So that one will just go back on the shelf. If I do have any where, I mean, it doesn't really happen to me, where I had any colour that was a little bit of colour that was left in the mould, all I would probably do is, again, I'm not going to send them to the wash up. I'm not going to go in and clean them, hot water, soapy water, all of it. I would just give the ones that need a little bit of a buff. If you do get butter underneath, you know, it's on your hands and you're spraying, right? So you can give the underneath there a clean. Again, we'll just give it, give it just a gentle warm. You're not heating it hot. I don't use a heat gun, it's too hot, right? All I want to do is just soften that chocolate that's on there. If everything has retracted out like it should do, your cavities will be lovely and clean. What you want to do is try and avoid getting your fingers into the actual cavities. If you get a little bit of chocolate where you're wiping it that does go in, just get those off. But we're like almost immediately back to a nice clean brand new mould. So again, I'll just go back up on the shelf. Spending a minute or so on each one of these. So they do get messy. I mean, these chefs that turn it out in the moulds like it came out of the factory, like I call BS. You do get chocolate on it. When you're capping, that there, when I was capping I didn't go fast enough, or I was at an angle, so it all goes over the edge. It's fine, it's cool, it happens, it's not the end of the world, right? If we just give that a really just a gentle warm. I don't want to melt that chocolate so it's dripping, because it will end all up back in the cavities, okay? So the reason I'm doing this on the live is I'm going to post this so that people can find it and I can get this onto YouTube as well, right? So that chocolate down the edge there will literally just wipe off, look, okay? And then we're kind of back to a new mould. This will save you, and you can do this the next day, right? This will save you an absolute mountain of work. So when we talk about working clean, it's okay to make mess. Not a problem. It's not a problem to make mess. Not a problem at all. What you don't want to do, you keep taking these to the wash up, you're actually creating more mess for yourself. So you've got to stack these by the sink, use a mountain of washing up liquid, hot water, all the rest of it, okay? All you want to do is just give them a real quick muff. I've got some butter on the bottom of that one, which is underneath, but if you've tempered your cocoa butter properly, and you've shelled properly and it's all retracted, okay, because these are the ones I showed these on the live last night and I was a bit worried that the room was warm, okay, and they have all, you can see the shine on those, they've all retracted nicely. 30 seconds to a minute for each mould, okay. See, the chocolate on the edge there, it's not a problem, it's truly not a problem. Don't heat the mould so much though that you have to that the chocolate starts dripping, right? Just a gentle warm, and this is on the lowest setting, right? So just a tiny little bit warm, okay? Tiny little bit warm, just enough to soften it. I'm not that messy, and I know some people are, okay? Not a problem. Even if you get chocolate all underneath there, it will wipe off, okay? What's important is if you've tempered your cocoa butter properly, okay? If you've tempered your cocoa butter properly, there's some chocolate in that one there, okay? So I just wipe those out, okay? I've tempered your cocoa butter properly and it crystallises, and then we shell properly and it's properly tempered chocolate and it retracts, okay? It should leave the inside of your mould absolutely spotlessly clean, okay? So that's 6 moulds, and that's 6 moulds that I've done. Again, look, the chocolate on the side. I get a bit messy when I'm capping. Not too bad, but it's not. You can get rid of it, right? What you don't need to do is just keep taking them to the wash up, right? Because you'll scratch your moulds eventually, you know, or they'll get damaged. Some of these I've had 4 or 5 years. Some of these moulds I've had 4 or 5 years, and they're still get a glass-like finish, right? It's not, you know, don't need to polish your moulds every single time. What you need to do is just get that chocolate. It's only surface chocolate. If everything's retracted, the inside cavity should be spotless, okay? So I really just wanted to show that. So I'm going to post that. I've done a picture of it, so I'm going to post that so I can get that on the page so people can find it, because I think along with Chocky Chat, and all I've used is those, which I guarantee they're a little bit cheaper than a sink full of hot water, a load of those to polish all the moulds out again. You just need to be conscious that when you're working, it's not a problem to make mess. It's not a problem. It's not a problem making mess. It happens. I don't remember how many moulds I've dropped in. How many moulds I've dropped in chocolate because I let go of them. Because now I have, I've got grips on mine now because I just struggle with my finger strength to hold on to them. We'll do that with every single mould. We'll do that with every single mould. Very rarely do we put them in the wash up, and if they get really, really, really bad, give them a warm, wipe off the excess chocolate. Don't worry about making mess, but if you don't make mess, you won't have lots to clean up. What you don't want to do is send them all to the wash up, and then it starts taking like an hour, and then you're faced with 40, 50 moulds that you've got to individually clean and get watermarks off of. Like I said, concentrate on painting with cocoa butter that's fully tempered so that it crystallizes, so that when we add the chocolate is properly tempered and it retracts, and it will leave, there will be no residue left in that cavity, and it will be spotlessly clean. So I mean, they are new molds. There's a few bits on the back there, that's just some red that's on the outside. That will all come off, but you wouldn't know that those had chocolates in 15 minutes ago, okay? As you get towards Christmas production, God, the amount of people that are like, my fingers are sore from polishing moulds. Get yourself into a position where you understand that every time you put them into the wash up, one, you're going to damage your moulds, you get micro scratches. Not a problem putting them in a dishwasher, I prefer not to. Mine have all got grips on them here, and they're not particularly dishwasher safe or high heat safe. get yourself into position. Certainly with Christmas, you know, we can start thinking about Christmas production and Christmas orders and what does it look like, and we've got to turn moulds round. If you have got, you know, 20 moulds and you have to keep turning them, you can just give them a warm and give them a wipe and then paint again. It will save you endless hours of drying the moulds and then getting rid of all those watermarks as well. It's just it's a real kind of just a logical way of doing things. If we get so much chocolate on there that it's completely matted, if we drop one in and we can't get it clean, we might put one or two into the wash up, but kind of something I try and avoid if I can. I you know, try not to make mess. I'll tell you what makes mess more than anything. If you put too much chocolate on here, we'll do the same thing. When we're spraying, we will wipe all these clean, so we'll get back to a nice clean mould but that is painted. The more chocolate you put on, the more will run over the sides. And I did do a little trick recently where I said, put all your chocolate on and then get rid of the excess before you start capping and before you start turning everything out, okay? That I think will be, you know, start thinking about Christmas production and doing volumes and what have you. That'd be quite a game changer. So I'm going to post this onto the page. I just wanted to, rather than video it and edit it, I just thought it's probably easier if I just do a live, and then I'll put a picture on. I've done a little picture of kind of before and after, and then we can go from there. All right. Happy days. You can say some hellos out to everybody. Happy days. Here's a question. Do you think it's better using gloves while you are working with chocolate? No, I don't. Gloves will create more mess. I'm not a big fan of gloves because I think it prevents hand washing. In a normal production day, I guarantee I wash my hands 200 times a day. Same as my life in a kitchen. I was not a fan of gloves in a kitchen, and when I was doing kitchen inspections as a food inspector, if it was ready to eat food, as in it wasn't going to go through any further process. So if they were making sandwiches and things, absolutely fine. Gloves are a good thing. If we're serving food, gloves are a good thing. In production, hand washing. Do a job, wash your hands, dry them, you come back. Hand washing is what keeps down bacterial transfer. Gloves don't. Gloves make it more messy. And the challenge you have with gloves is you can't feel if you've got anything on your hands. So you end up, when you're doing chocolate production, you end up with more stuff all over the bottom of the mould, and now you've got a mould that really needs cleaning. Obviously, with gloves, there's legislation, and different health enforcement have different ideas, and it's arguable. I think there are times when you should wear gloves. I don't wear gloves if I'm piping fillings. I just can't seem to get any control. The piping bag is slipping because the gloves aren't tight. We got different gloves that we use. We've got like the latex ones and then vinyl ones. Okay, these black ones fit tight to the knees. Depends what we're doing. Not a huge fan of gloves. I think I would rather see hand washing 200 times a shift than somebody using endless number of gloves, because I just don't think, you know, even if you're wearing gloves, you still need to do hand washing, right? So one doesn't solve the other. So great boxes, can you tell us where you find them? It's a local company here in the UK called Meridian Packaging. We're about to change packaging. We're having some products made, so please do a praline from Sweden. Oh, that would take me away. Art and chocolate, I definitely get more messy than that. Linda, we'll have a chat about that one. Is there any other questions? You're welcome. If there's no other questions, I'm going to get away and I will post this one. Say, we were supposed to be on holiday. We're not on holiday. I'm a business owner. I don't go on holiday. We take breaks. Holidays are a different thing. Holidays are for employees, right? So there's my chocolates. I'll post this on. I'll put this on YouTube a little bit later. But I just wanted to show that while we were doing it. That was the last 6. That was the very last 6 moulds, and it takes 6 minutes just to kind of give them. Just takes 6 minutes just to give them a quick buff rather than to put them in the wash up. Oh, Sophia So Sassy's asking a question here. Which chocolate is best for pistachio? in my opinion, I get asked this question a lot actually, and I know Sophia got asked this on her page. The best chocolate for pistachio, in my opinion, is a low milk chocolate. So 40, 45, 46, 47, 48% milk chocolate. Dark chocolate's too strong and it would overpower pistachio, in my opinion. Pistachio shouldn't be sweet. Pistachio should be slightly salty if you want the flavour from it. If we get too much sugar into pistachio paste, you end up losing that kind of earthy flavour from pistachio. So the pistachio filling we would leave as fairly savoury, and then the chocolate I would use is, I would kind of use, you know, between 40 and 45% cocoa mass milk chocolate, something that's a little bit caramelised like the Bahib, or I dare say I would use a caramelised chocolate with it. What I wouldn't do is use white chocolate because it's too sweet, and I wouldn't use dark chocolate because it would just kind of kill any flavour that's in the pistachio. So where would you recommend getting my packaging? I'm a very small business. Where are you? Books by Zainab. If you're in the UK, Meridian Packaging, they do it. I think Keeling do some stuff. I think Home Chocolate Factory do some packaging. It's difficult. Buying packaging in small amounts is a challenge. We used to get it from Meridian. We now get it from the main source, but we have to kind of buy 7,000 or 8,000 at a time. So small amounts, you're better off to just do a little Google local search. You know, 12 box packaging, right? So I'd go from there. Gemma Chocolates, you're welcome. You're in Canada. Why Canada and the US have a real problem with packaging? There is a business opportunity there if you're in the US or Canada to do chocolate packaging, because it just seems to be a real pain for those two countries. I think a lot of people have stuff made and have it shipped in. All right, I think that might be the option. So have it made in China and have it shipped in for you. So okay, I'm going to get away. I'm going to post this. I wasn't going to answer any questions, but it's Chocky Chat Crew, so why wouldn't I answer questions? I'm going to post this and I will catch you all next Friday, I hope. Have a good one.